Broadcasting live. It's America's longest running talk show on computers. It's Computer America, bringing you the biggest names in technology with guest interviews, new products, and your emails. Listen live at computeramerica.com on any device around the world. Email the show at live@computeramerica.com or find us on social media. Be sure to check out our website for contests, giveaways, show notes, live video stream, podcasts, and more. You're listening to Computer America.
Hello and welcome into the Computer America Show. We are the nation's longest running, nationally syndicated radio talk show on computers and technology. Thank you for joining us, everyone. I'm your host, Ben, and today on the program, we have the one, the only, Miss Sandy Berger. Yeah, she's joining us here today. She is a longtime Computer America correspondent, and she takes the role of being our consumer electronics expert. So everything from cameras to webcams to routers, printers, phones, laptops, anything and everything like that. Hey, she's the one that you definitely want to hear from. And also, she's also become, she was one of the first people on the show to really take an interest in digital assistants. And hey, that theme continues on through a lot of our shows. So if you have ever been curious about, getting started with that, I know it took me a little bit longer to adopt and adapt, but hey, I certainly have, and I have Sandy Berger to thank for that. So everyone, if you want to find out more about the show, computeramerica.com. That's where you'll find everything, including links to anything that we talk about, any products, any news, any articles that we discuss, anything and everything that we talk about here on today's program, computeramerica.com. Definitely check that out. There's also the podcast, there's social media, there's a lot going on there. We highly recommend you check that out. And hey, we thank you for it. So again, everyone out there on the radio, everyone out there in the podcast, thank you so much for tuning in. And why don't we go ahead and bring on our guest? And as I said before, longtime correspondent for Computer America, and Sandy Berger. So Sandy, how you doing? Welcome back onto the program.
Well, thanks, Ben. I'm glad to be with you, and I'm doing just great.
Perfect.
No problems.
Glad that you're doing well. And yeah, I hope that's, obviously with the holidays, you are in generally the same area that we are. And it's gotten cold. Oh my God, so cold.
Oh my gosh, yeah. It seemed like it was 70 or 75 every day. And suddenly last night it went down to in the 20s here, maybe even colder by you.
Yeah.
So yes, it's a little chilly, but it does give you a holiday feeling.
That's what I was just about to say. It definitely gets you in the mood and the spirit for the holidays. And there was something about this year in particular. I don't know if it's just like people are at home for longer and they have more time at home, but it has to do with I don't know. It just kind of seems like I saw Christmas decorations going up around like November 1st, or when I started seeing some of the first ones going up. And I don't know, again, maybe it's just people are home and they don't have much to do. And so they're like, hey, let's go ahead and put these up early. But, it's been nice seeing all the different decorations going up in this time of year. So
it has been nice. And I don't think it's so much that people don't have anything else to do. I think everybody is just hanging on the edge, waiting for something really good to happen. And the holidays are usually really good. So That's why I put up my Christmas decorations early, and a whole bunch of other people did too. The stores are already sold out of Christmas trees and timers for outside lights and all that sort of stuff. So it's not just me, it's everybody anxious for the holidays to come.
Yeah, I'm really, really, really looking forward to it. And I know because I got to pick out I'm at the age where I get to pick out my own gifts for other people to give me, and I got a book coming, and I'm really excited for that. So yeah, high tech, super high tech. But I promise everyone, the conversation today is going to have even more high tech stuff. And I think that a good place to start, Sandy, would be with kind of what's been going on in your household and what you've been toying with. And I believe you mentioned something about a Chromecast.
I have. I've been playing with the Google Chromecast TV. I also have another new product that I am loving, which is an Eero router, a mesh router that's Wi-Fi 6.
Eero, which one have you been playing with?
It's EERO.
EERO router. Okay, yeah.
It's the Amazon the company that Amazon bought.
Right.
So anyway, maybe next month we'll get to that, or maybe at the end of this show. But that's something pretty exciting. There's a lot to it. But the Google Chromecast TV. The reason I'm excited about that is partly because of the holidays, because there's so much television to watch, so many specials, so many animated shows, and all sorts of Christmas things. So I think that it was a great time to try a new streaming device.
Yeah, and of course, for just for a quick overview for everyone out there, streaming devices in general, I mean, they have gotten popular. I think that a lot of people have some, are familiar with some of them. But what is the value proposition for investing in a streaming device? And what services does it replace? Who would this be a good gift for? I mean, just kind of why a streaming device? Why are these attracting your attention?
Well, I guess the main reason is to cut the cord, as they say. People got really frustrated when their cable television bills went up to $150 or more. And they had a lot more choices that they felt they didn't need. So they thought, no, there's a new thing out there. It's called streaming. And you can get streams or from various services and have a lot of content and not have to pay those big cable bills. Now, unfortunately, streaming has been getting more and more expensive. I cut the cable, as they say, probably 9-10 months ago. During that time, streaming services have gone up and up in price. But it's still worthwhile. It's still exciting. There's all sorts of content out there that you can get on these streaming devices. Now, a streaming device, Ben, and other people might or might not know, actually you hook up to your HDMI cable on your TV, and then you are able to stream over the internet. Obviously, you need a good internet connection to do that. But some of the names that you've heard of are Fire TV Stick, Roku. Those are the main ones that are out there.
Apple TV to a smaller extent, yeah.
Apple TV, that's right. All sorts of streaming devices, and more are coming online. Now, Chromecast has always been able to stream to your TV, but you had to have a computer to stream from, or a tablet, or a cell phone. And then you could get up a video on your cell phone, tablet, whatever, and shoot it over by Chromecast to your TV.
I will say one little caveat there, and this is what I ran into, which I was super disappointed. I thought that Chromecast would allow you to essentially mirror anything on your phone onto your TV. So anything that you see on your phone screen, you would see on your TV screen. Not so much the case. Chromecast has to be designed and integrated with apps. Like the Netflix app has Chromecast integrated, and there's a special button. You press it, and you can throw it onto your TV or your Chromecast. But I opened, let's say I even opened Google Chrome, the app on my phone. I couldn't just throw my Chrome browser onto my TV from my phone because that integration did not exist. It was frustrating.
There's various ways to do it. And if you run Chromecast as like on a browser on your computer, there's a button there that is actually kind of hidden that you have to cast it over. So people don't realize that. It got kind of complicated for the average person. And the average person didn't want to play with a TV remote in one hand and a cell phone in the other just to watch a Netflix video or whatever.
Right.
So it had its uses, the regular Chromecast, but it never became that popular. However, with this rendition, and they call it the Google Chromecast TV, what they've done is they've added a remote control. And that remote control allows you to put all sorts of apps on your TV, and you put the device itself on your TV, and then you use it with the remote control.
So, and just to be super clear here, what you're seeing on the screen, Sandy Berger, I mean, this is what you're dealing with at home. like this remote and this whole thing. Google, because Google has terrible at naming things, Chromecast with Google TV. So they just kind of tacked on with Google TV. It's unfortunately it would make so much sense, Sandy, to call it the Google Chromecast TV, but it's the Chromecast with Google TV.
I have actually seen it written both ways, even from Google things. So gotcha. I've seen it in both, but in any case, what it is what it is. And gotcha. What it is a streaming dongle, a little dongle, like the Fire TV stick or Roku or all the others. And you put it into the HDMI port on your TV, and then you plug it in, and you can then install apps and use it. Now, there's one caveat here. I tried to hook it up to the USB, and my USB didn't have enough power to run the Google Chromecast.
I've never heard of that.
Well, it's the first time that happened to me. That's why I'm mentioning it. But actually, I have an outlet right there, so I just got a plug and plugged it into the wall, and it works just great. So just mentioning that to somebody who might not have an outlet near their TV, you're probably going to need one.
So and for kind of for my sake, I'm like you said, I'm used to the Chromecast. The Chromecast is a very limited way to get kind of certain apps and browsers onto your TV. The thing that makes this with Google TV is that there are kind of preloaded apps. Like this is its own device. Like you really don't need a secondary device to deal with this.
That's correct.
Gotcha.
You do everything through apps on this device on your TV, and you can run Netflix or Amazon, which I was impressed with because Amazon and Google have not always seen eye to eye on everything. But Amazon Prime runs on this, and YouTube and Prime Video, just about anything you want. Now there was actually two exceptions. I like to be cooking a lot, especially since COVID came. I'm cooking more and more, and I watch Food Network Kitchen, which is only available on the Fire TV. So it's not available on Roku or anything else. Other than that, there's one caveat with this device. The Chromecast TV will not run Apple TV Plus. Now, I assume that's coming, but it's not here yet. But it does HBO Max, it does
Spotify,
Netflix, it does Disney and Spotify and just about anything else. It even does Amazon Music, which actually, again, amazed me because there's such good integration there.
And then, of course, one thing that they're really advertising here, but when you have done this, and you were talking about kind of the cost and the rising cost, one of the most notable streaming services that has been getting more and more expensive is YouTube TV, which is kind of sad because it's not even like the most popular one. But YouTube TV, I think, I'm looking at the website here, runs you about $65 a month. I'm sure, there are promotions and whatnot, but $65 a month. And I'm guessing, so when they say that, Chromecast with Google TV can show you live television, that's how they do it. You have to subscribe to the $65 YouTube service.
Okay, you do not have to. You can run Sling or other things that will give you everything else on there. There's only, again, one small caveat. The YouTube, the Chromecast TV has sections across the top, like most others do. So it has a search, a For You, a live, movies, shows, that sort of thing.
Right.
The live tab will only show up if you have YouTube TV. Okay, and Google is saying that they are going to be working with Sling and others to do the live TV as well. But right now it only works with YouTube TV. Now, let me say this about YouTube TV, because I've had Hulu Plus and I've had Sling and just about everything out there I've tried out. And YouTube TV is by far the best. It's the easiest to use. It has the most different streams available. It has a great recording area, unlimited recording, so you can record. It's like having your own video recorder there, but it's of course all online. But it is, I think, the best. At least right now, it is the best. And you're right, it's just gone up to $65 a month, so it's not cheap. But you do get your ABC, CBS, Fox, NBC stations.
Right.
And that's what the word live really means, is it's like
Sports
watching cable TV.
Yeah, sports and news. That's really the big one.
Sports and news, right.
Yeah, and a lot of these services, they're starting to, I've seen them through things like Roku and some of the Amazon products. They're coming out with like their own competitors to these where, it may not be CBS Evening News, but they'll have like their own kind of knockoff live version of the news. I don't know if we're going to see more of that. That one is kind of up in the air for me because, the quality is obviously not there, but it's also not that bad. I don't know. It's almost like seeing different news stations popping up, and I don't know if I trust them yet. I don't know.
Well, there's all sorts of new stations, be they news or otherwise, and anyone who is cutting the cable, as they say, to get fewer choices is going to be overwhelmed, because the choices are just more and more and more. You can do all these streams that are available and have plenty of content for each one. And you can do that at a decent price too. So the price is pretty good. You can pick and choose. The good thing about streaming is that there's no monthly subscription fee. Right. So all these, if you want to sign up for YouTube TV, try it out. Most of them have a free trial. After that, you try it for a month. You don't like it, you cut it off and go to the next one. And that is actually how I've gotten to try them all in the past year.
It's very, very important to to kind of see which one fits you, because personally, I was super excited about The Mandalorian and kind of Apple and their streaming service. If I had kids, if I maybe watched TV with friends more, kind of watch movies with friends more, something like that, maybe. But personally, I didn't find it worth it. But I can see how someone would. So
you didn't find what was worth it?
The Apple, the Apple streaming service. I
think, and I'm getting kind of off the topic here, but Apple TV has the worst streaming service as far as I'm concerned. And I watched The Mandalorian and The Morning Show and some of their major things that I really enjoyed. So the series has been good. The original programming has been good. But in their interface, they keep trying to sell you more. In other words, you'll go into Apple and you think you're getting something that you've already paid for with Apple TV. And no, you have to then, boom, you have to subscribe to Showtime, HBO, all these other things.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I really dislike about Apple TV.
Amazon has that problem to a certain extent as well. Netflix has gotten a lot better because, back in the day, with Netflix, if you wanted to see a movie that you really wanted to see, 9 out of 10 times it was like, oh yeah, sign up for the DVD mailing subscription service and you can see that movie.
You're old. You remember all that, huh?
I do. Yeah. So old. This like 7 years ago kind of thing. But either way, Apple wants to do what everyone else, like what Disney kind of already can do because they're Disney. Apple from the very beginning had the issue that they were not content creators. There's not like Apple Studios, there was like Pixar, but like that was Steve Jobs, the whole thing, and that was whatever. But like Apple never made a movie, Apple never made a TV show until they started the streaming service. So like they were at a severe disadvantage when it came to the amount of stuff, just the sheer amount of content they could put out. And so, Sandy, what you were saying, they tried to mask that by, throwing in these other catalogs and, these other services. So that's how I feel about that. They were just trying to mask the fact that they just didn't have a lot of content, but they're going to work on it, I hope.
They are working on it, but they still don't have as much content as some others. Disney Plus, which costs approximately the same amount a month, has about 30 times more content.
Oh, for sure. Because it's Disney and Fox and all the other ones. Yeah, it's huge. Huge for sure. So,
But one thing that this Chromecast TV does is it consolidates the streaming services that you have. So if you have Netflix and you have Disney and you have 3 or 4 others, you can put just those on the screen and they will give you recommendations from those. Now, most of those are free things because you've already paid for it, which I really like. Every now and then they'll get a recommendation for something that you have to pay for. But this is the best. And I looked at the TiVo streaming device, and that's what they were supposed to do, is congregate all this stuff so that give you suggestions and make it much easier. TiVo didn't quite come through, although they're still working on their interface and that, so it keeps changing. But Chromecast TV has pretty much come through. So you can have suggestions of things that you might really like to watch, and they're from streams that you already subscribe to. Right. And I think that that's pretty cool. Plus, if you choose something on the Google Chromecast TV, you choose something to watch, it'll take you right to that stream. In other words, they'll show you on the screen that Netflix has the Queen's Gambit on. Okay. Yeah. So you press on it, and you're taken immediately to Netflix. So you don't have to juggle or remember which streaming service whatever you want to watch is on, and it works pretty well.
Yeah. The consolidating of multiple streaming services. I do not know how many, and I could probably Google just how many streaming services do people subscribe to on average. And that, I gotta say that according to recent they have about 3 paid video streaming services each. So right. I think these, be it Google or, Roku or Sling or whatever, any of these services kind of know that there's an issue with kind of seeing all the content in front of you in one place. I don't know who does it best, though. But you seem to be a fan of how Google and Chromecast do it.
Well, so far, and everybody's coming up with new things and new ideas. Matter of fact, Amazon just came out with the new Fire TV interface, which I haven't seen yet because it hasn't come down to my TV yet. But I read that it was out 2 days ago. So within the next week, we'll be getting a new interface for Fire TV, and hopefully they keep making these things better and better. Doesn't always work that way, but hopefully it does. Right. Now, one thing that does make a difference is what you want to watch. If you have a 4K TV and you want to watch high quality video, the Chromecast TV will also handle that. It can stream 4K HDR. It can stream Dolby Vision. The one thing I really like is it has Atmos, Dolby Atmos, which is an audio that's excellent. Now, this little streaming device supports it. Your TV also has to support it, and the streaming service has to support it. So in other words, you can get Atmos on Prime Video, you can get Atmos on Netflix and several others. I think HBO Max might have it. But you'll need all the equipment to go with it. Right. Now, I have all the equipment. I absolutely love it. I just love having the sound. It's like surround sound, and it feels like it comes from different places in the room rather than from in front of you or behind you. It's really a pretty cool thing. So if you ever want to get into that, or you already have the equipment you need, this is a good streaming device to have.
So, and speaking of that whole thing, and maybe a little bit later in the show, Sandy, we can talk about the just announced yesterday Apple headphones, the AirPods, the AirPods Max. Yeah. Which makes no sense because they are not AirPods, but I guess they're kind of like pods that fit over your ears, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I guess that's what Max means, bigger.
Yeah, right? Yeah, and we can talk a bit about that and what they're doing with sound and all that good stuff. But to focus on streaming for a little bit here, I purchased the Chromecast Ultra 4K, the one that came with 4K and all the good stuff. And I think that was about $60. And if I recall, way here at the top, it said it was like $90, I think.
Yeah.
For this one.
I think when it first came out, it was a little bit less, but now it's 90.
Probably. Yeah, unfortunately that's the way technology goes, where it's like, oh, it first came out, it must be at its high point, and then you wait 6 months and it goes up $10 instead of going down $10. But I digress. My whole point here is that like the Chromecast Ultras were like $65. This one at $90, but this one does come with a lot of those promotions, just like you were saying, how you're able to try things before you actually have to start paying for them. This comes with like a 3-month. Yep.
The $90 that you're talking about is for the Ultra.
Right.
Is for the Chromecast Ultra. This Chromecast TV is selling for $50.
And you're right. So I'm looking here on the screen, and so that's with Netflix. So that's the Netflix bundle as well. Yeah.
Right. They're bundling it together, but you don't have to get Netflix with it.
Right.
It's
so just this one.
Just $50, and it actually is a little bit better than the Ultra in that it has Bluetooth and some other things. I can't recall what, but it has something else that the Ultra doesn't have. The only thing the Ultra does have is an Ethernet port.
Right.
This does not have an Ethernet port. But
some people need it. Yeah.
Most people don't use that anyway. For most people, it's Wi-Fi only. So.
Right. Yep. No, I completely understand, and you're right. That's with the Netflix bundle. So, though I can't imagine anyone at this point who is into streaming doesn't already have Netflix. But hey, maybe it applies somehow. Very, very good.
I think with the latest price increase for Netflix, which was 4 or 5 months ago, I heard that a lot of people just said, "I'm not going to have it anymore." And maybe they went without it for several months, and now they see an offer like this, and it sounds pretty good.
I will say Netflix's subscriber numbers have really benefited from the pandemic. A lot of people are looking for things to watch. I think their numbers are still pretty high, but yeah, I also do know a lot of people who have cut the cord from Netflix, surprisingly. So all of that being said, though, when it comes to different streaming devices, because you mentioned you've tried the Rokus, you tried the Apple TVs, you tried the Fire Sticks. In terms of just kind of its own experience, is this something that you would recommend for a first timer, for an experienced user, for someone who's just all in? Who would like this Chromecast TV? I
think that the Chromecast TV, which also has Google built into it, just so we mention that. I think that if you are going to get somebody something like YouTube TV, which is one of those services that actually is very much like cable, because you have your local channels, your sports, your news, and all that. So if you're going to get something for someone who, say you have a grandparent who's used to cable TV, but you want to move them over to this. So YouTube TV plus this device, I think would be excellent. It would be a very good choice. Now, if you don't have YouTube TV, this is going to work with Sling and some of the others in the future, but not quite yet. I do like the interface on this very much. I like it better than Fire TV or the old Fire TV.
Right.
The only thing I don't like about this is the remote control. Now, it's just a plain, simple, oval kind of remote. It's got your round button and your choice button and a built-in Netflix button. It's got an on and off.
Google Assistant button, yeah.
Google Assistant button, right. It's got an on and off so that if you have the proper TV, it can turn your TV on and off and turn it on and off, which again makes it easy for someone who doesn't understand inputs and all that. So if it's a good choice for a replacement as like a bundle. If,
right.
Your TV has to support HDMI, CEC in order for it to go on and off, but a lot of newer TVs do.
Yeah.
So my disappointment is I believe that the remote is flimsy. I actually took the first one back. I bought this. It's not that Google sent it to me, but I bought it.
Yeah.
And I took it back because the remote was so, I just say flimsy, and it just kept jumping around. When I tried to choose ABC, it would jump to something else.
Oh, so like glitchy. Okay.
Yeah, the remote, just the
Yeah.
remote. And so the second one that I got doesn't quite do that, but I still find it a little not a solid feeling.
Cheaply made.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, not a solid feeling as my LG remote or even my Roku remote. So that's one thing that I would say. It's not a reason not to buy this. As a matter of fact, I use this on my LG TV, and my LG remote works with the Google. As long as I turn it on by this so that it goes to the right input, I can then use my LG remote to move things around. So what kind of TV you have will decide if you can do something like that, or you have to use this remote.
Right. So, and looking at some of the other features that we didn't mention, smart device integration, can you kind of have your Google Assistant use this device to put up a show on your television? Or is that integration not there? It is.
Yes. Yeah. You can do that with the old Chromecast too. If you haven't tried it yet, you can actually say, hey, Google, start Netflix, show me whatever on Netflix.
Right.
And it'll take you right to where you left off. Uh-oh.
I do have Chromecast, and I'm actually a huge fan of them, but I also have Amazon's Spies in my house. So I just don't have the Google Assistant anywhere near me, but that would be very convenient. And by the way, does the remote come with a microphone in it? Like, can you speak into the remote to voice control? Okay.
Yes, and it has Bluetooth, which is very nice if you're somebody who wants to watch television with headphones on. Now, I haven't tried it yet, but I assume that's what the Bluetooth is for. So
it would make sense, yeah.
Yeah, and it's got a dedicated button for Google, so you can press the button and talk to Google. And the search has been pretty good. I've been pretty impressed with it. So
very good, very good. So some of the other things, Stadia, however you want to say that. I'm assuming, Sandy, that you haven't been playing with Stadia since it came out.
No, I'm not a huge gamer, and this device does not support the gaming. Again, Google says it will in the future,
right? But
it only has 8 gigs of memory, I believe, which is not a lot for if somebody wants to throw games on it.
Yeah, but like that's the promise of Stadia, is that, and you know this, they handle the heavy lifting of the hardware on their end, and then you just need a really strong internet connection to stream the data.
Yeah, you're right, and I do have a friend who got one of these and side-loaded Stadia, so it can be side-loaded on there, but I usually try not to get involved with that.
Yeah. It's Google's promise with Stadia is that almost any device can become a high-powered gaming device, and it sounds like this would put it to its test if it can turn a simple Chromecast into a gaming PC. And obviously with the Bluetooth, that you'd be able to have a controller or something like that. But it seems very capable for a Chromecast, and even like I'm kind of regretting having the one that I have. Like, the one that I have is working for what I need it for, but this one seems to be much more feature rich than some of their past Chromecasts that they've offered.
It is, and it's more feature rich than the Ultra.
Yeah.
So there's 3 of them out there now. There's the regular Chromecast, the Chromecast TV, and the Chromecast Ultra. And you noticed I put the Chromecast TV in the middle because that's where it comes price-wise, and not because that's where it comes feature-wise. Because feature-wise, I believe this is actually better than the Chromecast Ultra, which is more expensive.
Right, yeah. And I just found this article. They said that the Chromecast is dead, but Yeah, they said that it's actually here. It's just in a different form, saying that they call it like they have a version called the Stadia Premier Edition, which is the Chromecast Ultra, but with like a controller as well. And of course, this one has the Ethernet port on the side. It really does seem like they're phasing out the Ultra brand and they're tying it into the Chromecast, the Google with Chromecast TV and the Stadia version of it. Like, it seems like they don't want to sell it standalone, but it seems like the go-to hardware for all their bundles.
That's right. And I think that this device actually is something that Google is planning on improving. In other words, they've said that certain things like Sling will be able to be in the live TV before too long. And so that they've made some promises here that this will be even better than it was like 6 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see.
Yeah, I'm actually trying to find it right here. And here it is. Wow, that took a lot of digging. Like, Google does not want you to come to this page. The Chromecast
Really?
Ultra, yeah, they buried it way under there. So all these different things, but yeah, it seems to be like they're bundling it in with all their other services, and I would not be surprised if it gets rebranded. It's $100. Wait, why is it $110? I don't remember that.
The Ultra?
Yeah, the
Last
Ultra.
time I looked, it was $990.
Yeah, and when I purchased it, it was like 65 or 70.
Yeah,
It's 110 though.
that's what it says.
They don't want you to listen at 110, Sandy. Buy Chromecast, Chromecast with Google TV, like at that price point.
Right, and the TiVo stream, which is also good in trying to integrate things as we talked about. I just saw it offered for $39, and that was $49 when they came out with it. One thing about this is that I did not see it on sale anywhere for Black Friday. Or Cyber Monday.
If
or
you
anything.
want to get off topic, Sandy, Black Friday was the biggest disappointment. I looked at so many things, and it seems like, well, first of all, services like Camel that showed you the price history and showed you the current price. A lot of them were not even deals, and I told this to people in my personal life, Sandy, that it felt like Black Friday was this. It has become this thing, like Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and I don't know if it's like the hardship from the pandemic and COVID, and companies aren't making, they can't offer the kind of deals they used to. But what I want to say was, it seems like they know people are going to be looking to purchase their laptops, their phones, their TVs, their whatever. Like, companies know people are looking to buy their electronics. So they're going to throw out very small or even no savings whatsoever, and because they know that the traffic is going to be there anyways, and people are probably going to buy it anyways. It seems like there's no incentive, I guess, for the companies to offer incentives.
Very little incentives for them.
It seemed like it, personally.
But Amazon is one place that they did have discounts on almost all of their products for Black Friday or that
Amazon's
time
own
period.
products, yes.
And they still have some that are still available. Google also has some of their products on sale. You'll see Google, it's called Amazon Show. What's the Google one? Google Nest Home.
Yeah, Nest Home, yes.
You'll see those everywhere on sale. And that's a good device too. I'm into the Google Show and all that. But
yeah.
But those are on sale. But this Chromecast TV, I didn't see on sale anywhere.
Nope. Seems pretty average, and well, not average, but it seems pretty. The price is consistent, and then of course the Chromecast Ultra price is just going through the roof. Yeah. So there you go, Chromecast with Google TV. I would thank you for bringing that to my attention, Sandy, because I had not even heard about this product, and now I can't even recommend the other one at that price. That is like the price of a TV is like $110 in my head. Like a good 32, 43 inch TV is like $120.
I know.
It's crazy.
It's amazing. You know what? I went into the store and decided I wanted to put one of my televisions on the wall.
Hmm?
And the wall mounts, well, several stores were completely sold out of them.
Yeah.
And when I found one, they started at like $100. Well, that doesn't make too much sense to me that I'm going to spend $150 for a big screen TV and then have to spend $100 to mount it. Plus, if I don't want to do it myself, I have to pay somebody to mount it.
Yeah.
That would cost more than the TV itself.
I know. It's we just recently mounted a bunch of TVs, and it gets expensive. Those peripherals.
But it again shows you what people are dealing with COVID are doing. You know, they're out there
Yeah.
buying
taking out
things,
projects. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, definitely supply and demand. One thing I wanted to mention real quick, and because we're still talking about kind of streaming devices, Sandy, since you were last on the program, there was some news from Netflix, and I wanted your reaction because this is something that Netflix is only offering this in France, of all places. And I was thinking this is a very good idea, I think, for people who are new to streaming and, you know, kind of the idea. Like you said, when you see all of the choice and all of the different, all the different stuff that you can watch, it may be overwhelming. Netflix in France, and this was last month, everyone, but maybe you hadn't heard about it, Netflix Direct. It's a linear TV channel that should be playing only in France, and it will show a number of hugely popular television programs and movies that are, well, again, popular in France. So it's like a linear TV channel, so your regular cable channel, but on Netflix.
Okay, I did not hear about that. So what is the basic difference between this and the Netflix we get?
Well, obviously they have different content and stuff like that, and I'm sure that theirs is natively in French, haha. But Netflix Direct, like this is the experimental thing in France. I guess they've done enough research in France to say that the French still, by and large, really enjoy the. They even have a quote here. They just want a lean back experience where they don't have to choose shows. That's what Netflix, the company, said about the French population. So they are coming out with this test, the Netflix Direct, that you can simply navigate to just like you would any other TV show or something like that. But Sandy, you don't get to rewind, you don't get to pause, you don't get to fast forward.
I see.
It is a strictly linear channel that you can tune into whenever you want.
So certain things are on at certain times?
Yes, exactly. Just like traditional TV.
Like a TV channel.
Yes, but
so
it would still
Netflix.
Yes, but it would still only host Netflix content. So I'm assuming like if you pop into the middle of a TV show, it's like, oh, I want to see that from the beginning. You can navigate to elsewhere in their catalog and see that. But this is a whole separate thing.
I see. Okay. Well, everything in the streaming area is getting is shaking out right now, and COVID has thrown wrenches into everything and made everybody change their mind about a variety of things. I don't know if you heard about Wonder Woman 1984.
Was it postponed or what?
Brand new movie that's coming out on Christmas Day, but they're going to show it streaming on the same day that they show it at the shows.
I believe we covered that one. We covered that story yesterday where we talked about, and that was a deal with Warner Brothers and HBO Max.
Warner Media.
Warner Media.
Yeah.
Warner Media.
They announced that they're going to have their entire 2021 catalog. They're going to release it to streaming at the same time they release it to the shows.
Yeah, to theaters. To the few theaters that are open. Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess that I just brought that up as the idea that the streaming is changing everything, and nobody knows what direction it's going to go in.
This is one of those things that there's a huge union, of course, a union that
Right.
are like the movie theaters, and like they all have like their own way that they communicate with the companies that make the films, and they always make sure that there's a theatrical release. It seems like the studios that make the movies, they've been pushing for years to kind of get that, released in theaters to release to DVD sales, because they know that, they'll make their money at it, like within like the first 2 or 3 weekends. And then after that, it's all about DVD sales. It's all about licensing. It's about playing it on pay-per-view, whatever. It's almost like they've been working against the movie theaters for as long as they can. COVID has accelerated those conversations to the point where, like you said, Wonder Woman 1984, what would have been probably the largest movie of the season, if not the year, it's just going to be released on streaming, just like everything else.
Yeah, it's amazing, and again, they're all trying to do different things. Like Disney came out with Mulan on streaming rather than in the theaters, but they charged a fee, like $30 for it.
Yeah.
So now there was nothing said about a fee for any of these movies, but there really might be something attached to it. They're coming out on HBO Max.
Yes. The only catch is you have to be subscribed to HBO Max, and there's no additional fee for that.
Okay.
Yeah. That deal, as far as I know, only lasts for like the next 6 months, and they have, kind of which movies are part of that deal. But this does seem like kind of the beginning of the end of kind of the movie theater release as we know it, because I can't see it going back to this even after COVID is, vaccinated and cured and all that good stuff. I don't see movie theaters having the same, like their argument was always, you have to release it in theaters or else it's just not going to make money. And I guess at some point, you can't release it in theaters to make money. So why not just bite the bullet and just go with streaming?
Right. And we'll see what happens, because the tale will tell when we see how many people subscribe to HBO Max just to get some of these movies. Now, personally, HBO Max is one of those that I don't subscribe to. And sometimes there's things I'd like to watch on it, but you can't subscribe to everything. However, I saw this, I said, maybe I should.
This deal is, much like when Disney came out and they were talking about all the different content that they have, this deal between Warner Media and HBO Max definitely puts HBO Max on a different level, I think.
Right. So if a lot of people start subscribing to HBO Max because of this, then maybe the other theater or movie makers will follow. But hard to tell.
And then at that, even if you take it to the next degree, Sandy, you could think about all the different studios, all the Paramount Pictures, the Warner Media, and I don't even know if they still exist or not, but yeah, all these different studios, kind of making partnerships and deals just like they did with HBO Max, in saying that, Paramount has made a 6-month deal with Netflix, subscribe to Netflix and you get all the movies for free. And everyone else, you have to pay X amount of money to see it. That could be possible. I mean, it's happened. So what about the other studios? Yeah.
Right. When they start to fall, it'll be like dominoes, I think. You can't tell for sure what's actually going to happen, but It's all very, very interesting. Apple is the only one who hasn't gotten involved in this yet.
Apple. I feel so torn about Apple and bashing Apple, because it's like they do things, they do it kind of halfway, and we have plenty of criticism for what they do, but then they do other things very, very well. But no matter how much I want to talk bad about them, I always just kind of look at their stock price and look at their cash on hand, and I go, they have like $800 billion in cash. Can I really criticize them? Like, are they really doing the wrong thing?
Well, one thing that they did right, and it actually shocked me. Last year, I got Apple Plus free for a year when I bought a new Apple phone. Okay.
Yes, so did I.
And that year was to be up in November. And Apple just made an announcement and sent an email saying, we're going to give you 3 extra months that you don't have to pay for.
Very nice.
And that actually shocked me, because usually Apple is not at all shy about their prices. And you mentioned headphones that just came out. What's the price on those?
Yeah. Well, Sandy, if you want to, kind of give a little wrap up thought to all the streaming services and,
Sure.
wrap that up, we can go ahead and spend the next 5 minutes, the last five minutes of the show talking about the headphones, but let's wrap up this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. What do we want to say?
Chromecast
Streaming
with Google
is here
TV.
to stay.
Yeah.
What was that?
Streaming is here to stay for sure, but Chromecast with Google TV, you've had your hands-on experience with it, and you say this is a good deal.
It is a good deal. You have to be very careful at this point in time because there are still some streaming services that you can't get on certain devices. For instance, you can't get Apple TV Plus on this device. So if you're a big Apple fan, you also can't get AirPlay. So if
Right.
you're a big Apple fan, you might not want to go with that. You might want to go with an Apple TV or Fire TV or Roku. They all have good things. The one thing I will say about the devices themselves, if you don't have a 4K TV right now, you should still spend the extra $20 or whatever it is to get a 4K streaming device because you might have one in the future. Right. And once you have a 4K TV, you're not going to want to go backwards.
Yep.
So
I can certainly agree with that. 4K has been I'm very glad that jumped on board. This whole 8K and 5K thing that Apple's pushing and all these other Ks, they'll come later. But 4K is at this point, HD is not enough. 4K, you need it.
Yes, I think 4K is here. And I think that the increased audio like Dolby Atmos and all of those things are coming too.
Yeah, and actually, speaking of audio, that actually is a perfect segue into the AirPods Max that should be available on December 15th. In case this is kind of played at a different time. But Sandy, I don't know how much of this you've seen, but you were asking about the price. The price of these was, I believe, $549, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
Yeah, $549. Yeah. And of course, you can sell your firstborn child and get $91 a month until you pay it off. So, yeah.
Well, the thing is, Apple's never shy on their prices, but this price did kind of shock me a little bit because the going price for headphones that are really good, like Sony, I have a set of Sony headphones that I absolutely love, and the going price now is right around $300, maybe a little bit less. So this is, in some cases, double the price of a good pair of headphones.
To me, good headphones and, especially noise canceling and things like that, I always go with, kind of Sony, definitely Bose for sure. 250, 300 is, about the industry standard. This one, after reading about some of the technology, and we covered this yesterday on the show, they do offer some features, Sandy, that I haven't seen in other Bluetooth headsets. One of them
Tell me what they are.
Yeah. So one of them is you were talking about the Dolby Atmos sound system, or the standard, I should say. This supports that in that they have gyroscope. Thank you. So they have gyroscopes built into the headsets. So imagine that you are listening to a television and you have these on, you're watching television with these on. If you turn your head to the right, most headphones, hey, they're attached to your head. They don't really change. The direction of the sound does not change because you're wearing headphones. These will actually measure where it is you're kind of watching. And if you turn your head to the left, it will be like you are facing a different sound source. It will kind of adaptively change the direction and levels of the noise to be like an Atmos theater or 7.1 or 5.1 sound system.
Okay, well, that's impressive.
It's a bit more immersive. Another one are features such as, and I think others do this too, where like if you take them off your head, it knows that you've moved them away from your ears. It will pause the music. It won't just keep playing. You can press a button, and this is another one that I had not heard. Sandy, you're pretty good with headphones. You know the difference between open back and closed back headphones, like what they are designed to do differently, right?
Right.
Yeah. So and for everyone out there, open back means that you can kind of hear what's going on in the room around you, whereas closed back, you're completely isolated. Like that's the main goal.
So if you're walking down the street, you don't want to have closed earphones on. You want something open that you can hear the car that's going to beep its horn at you.
Exact. And hopefully you're not walking in the road. Whereas closed back, if you're flying on a plane, you don't want to hear anything about, anything around you, then you want closed back. These, with the press of a button, can become the other, which is, I think, the only value proposition that I really appreciated. With a press of a button, it will kind of use either the phone's microphone that it's attached to or its own microphones that are built into it, and it will actually selectively let in things like footsteps, other people's voices, things like that. You can turn these into kind of open back headphones with the press of a button.
That's impressive, but most of the Bose headphones and Sony headphones that have noise cancellation, you can turn the noise cancellation off.
Right.
And then you can also hear
I think this has
ambient sounds.
Yeah, I think this has the same technology that AirPods have. When you leave your AirPods in, they also kind of heighten the noise around you, and you kind of work as like little microphones to allow it so that things around you don't sound muffled because you have your ears covered. This will actually broadcast the ambient noise around you into your ears as well. So it's almost like you're not wearing the headphones when you don't want to isolate yourself.
Okay.
And again, they're little technology pieces like that yesterday when we were talking about it on the show, I was like, what they do, and of course it's Apple, they have their own, they have their own integration and all that kind of stuff and their own design features. I would say to a regular company, these would probably be $350, $400 headphones. Like that would be a reasonable price point. But because it is Apple, an extra 100, 150 seems to have been tacked on. That was just my feeling.
And some people will buy it just because they think so much of Apple and they want the very best and the very latest.
I know that you haven't been traveling, but when you used to travel, did you see how many people were wearing AirPods? Oh my God, everyone has them. I'm so surprised.
Yeah, they are, but
it's
those
fashion.
were better priced, incomparable to others. The Amazon ones are quite a bit cheaper, but you would expect that. Okay. But I just think that they seem to me to be overpriced, and
they really, and I hate to use the phrase, but at the end of the day, they are simply Bluetooth headphones. And they're going to have all these nice features. They're going to be integrated. They're going to work very seamlessly. They're going to have their own design. The battery life seems to be pretty good. 20 hours of listening, so they claim. There's going to be quick charging that they have and all that good stuff. The design looks okay. I mean, what'd you think about the looks?
I think the looks are fine. It's a question of how it feels on your head. The Bose and the Sony headphones are extremely comfortable to me. The ones that were put out by Apple before this, what was the company the name that their old headphones were?
Of Apple's own headphones?
Yeah.
Let's see. Apple. I do not recall.
But anyway, they had their own line.
Their own headphones? I know that.
Yeah, they had their own line of headphones that were tied to, and Apple bought that company. But anyway, I didn't find those comfortable at all. And when I bought mine, I was between Sony and Bose, and where I could get the best price, but they were both very, very comfortable.
Right. Yeah, I'm really hoping that they are comfortable, because I mean they do kind of look it, and I guess for $550, for $550
they better be.
They better be as well. Coming out.
Do they come in different colors?
Yeah, the colors were right here. Yeah, so you got your white steel, black gray, blue, light blue,
okay,
orange.
Makes a difference in a headphone.
And lime green.
the Chromecast TV comes in different colors too, but you plug it into the back of the TV and you never see it again. So I don't know what the point was.
Yeah. Well, the flimsy remote control comes in different colors when you buy the different colors. So there you go.
Oh,
There's your answer.
Okay, maybe that's it.
yeah, just one little accessory. But Sandy, a lot of great information. Thank you so much for joining us. And this will be the last time that you join us here for this year. Of course, in January after CES, we'd love to have you back on and talk about a very unique CES. So
sounds good.
Perfect. Happy holidays and Merry Christmas, all that good stuff. Thank you so much. We'll catch you next time.
Bye-bye.
Right. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone. And so, everyone, that's about it. Thank you so much for, of course, tuning in here to Computer America. We'll catch you next time, same place. Everyone, have a great day. See you so much. Bye, everyone.